Tell me you love me.
welcome to the Smite art show. It's me, your art mom, Anna Buns, and joining me today is no one. It's just me. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a heads up before we show off some amazing artwork. I know the format's different right now, this amazing studio that our team has put together. There's a lot of changes happening, and I just wanted to let you guys know that we're going to be going on a brief hiatus. I know, I'm so sad, but don't worry, we've done it before and we always come back super strong. After 30 years of being in Georgia, I'll be moving across country with the hubs that some of you formerly knew as Hi-Res Andy. And during that transition, I'm going to have to be focusing on a lot of other stuff. Obviously, moving across country is pretty rough. But I wanted to let you guys know that the art show is still very much alive, and you guys, the community, have done such an outstanding job since the beginning. Everybody, and welcome to the Smite art. Hi everybody, and welcome to the Smite art show. It's me, your art mom, Anna Buns, and joining me today is no one. It's just me. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a heads up before we show off some amazing artwork. I know the format's different right now, this amazing studio that our team has put together. There's a lot of changes happening, and I just wanted to let you guys know that we're going to be going on a brief hiatus. I know, I'm so sad, but don't worry, we've done it before and we always come back super strong. After 30 years of being in Georgia, I'll be moving across country with the hubs that some of you formerly knew as Hi-Res Andy. And during that transition, I'm going to have to be focusing on a lot of other stuff. Obviously, moving across country is pretty rough. But I wanted to let you guys know that the art show is still very much alive, and you guys, the community, have done such an outstanding job since the beginning. And I love you guys so much. And in all honesty, like, this past summer has been a little rough for Hi-Res. We still keep going strong like we do. And I need to let you guys know that the community, the art community, and just in general the Smite community have done so much for us to keep us alive and keep us happy. And I can't tell you guys and express how much I love every single one of you who has consistently tagged Hi-Res Art Show, Smite Art Show in these past couple of years with your amazing artwork. And I love you guys very much. And we'll be back. Don't worry, keep submitting your artwork, keep showing off all of your amazing skills, and I'll still be there. I'm still running things. I can't say the S word. But yeah, I'll still be seeing all of your amazing artwork and hopefully creating some stuff alongside with all of you. And I love you guys so much, and that's pretty much it. We're gonna show off your artwork right now, and stay tuned for the update show. And remember, I love you and you look nice today. That's it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another beautiful Smite Update show. I am Titan Dandy, for those of you who don't know me, and I'm super happy to be here and super excited to be on the show. I know those of you who tuned in earlier saw that the art show is going on a hiatus for a while. It is a bummer, but as Anna said, it's always going to come back. There's a lot of cool stuff we're working on, and we just want to wish her the best in her travels and, getting adjusted to new life. It can be a scary thing. So, we hate to see that, but we want to keep seeing y'all's art. We love seeing that in the community and all over the place. So looking forward to more of that as we move. That extra time to really hear what the community had to say. So welcome back to Wednesday shows moving forward. Another bit of news is that 10.8, the update we're about to dive into, is a 3. You haven't been here in a while, Dad. Show is going. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another beautiful Smite update show. I am Titan Dandy, for those of you who don't know me, and I'm super happy to be here and super excited to be on the show. I know those of you who tuned in earlier saw that the art show is going on a hiatus for a while. It is a bummer, but as Anna said, it's always going to come back. There's a lot of cool stuff we're working on, and we just want to wish her the best in her travels and, getting adjusted to new life. It can be a scary thing. So, we hate to see that, but we want to keep seeing y'all's art. We love seeing that in the community and all over the place. So looking forward to more of that as we move down the road. But anyway, we got a lot in store today. So this is the 10.8 update for those of you who didn't feel like reading the title. And there's a lot of stuff. We have Avatar: The Last Airbender content, which we've been so hyped to show y'all, alongside the new arena and some balance changes, some other stuff. Super exciting, and we're going to dive right into it. Starting by me introducing my two beautiful guests today, Agro and Lermy. How are y'all?
What up?
What's up?
Super
Tired.
Good. I know, right? You haven't been here in a while, Dad.
I have not. Yeah, just working my way back in from paternity leave. So if I fall asleep mid-episode, it is not, or mid-show, it's not because it's not exciting or anything like that. It's because it's physically impossible for me to stay awake for too many hours in a row.
You know what? I can only understand the easiest bit of that. Like, I stay awake for non-important things. I can't imagine being awake 24/7 for something so important.
It's not my choice. It's his choice. You know?
Yeah, it's his choice.
Yeah.
Super cool. Well, let's start off with some news, shall we? We have a whole bunch of news that we can talk about, starting with, this is a Wednesday show. Hello, good to see you again. It's been a while since we've had a show on a Wednesday, and for the time being, this is how it's going to be. We tried out Thursday. We had reasons that we talked about forever ago. We wanted to make sure that our different teams had what they needed, and as we've talked and the show has continued forward, we thought, well, we want to give a little more time back to PTS to make sure that it is as impactful. It's a lot of eyes in one sentence. As it should be. So we're giving this extra day. PTS will be going live, which I'll say again at the end of the show, later today, theoretically. So we just wanted to make sure we had that extra time to really hear what the community had to say. So welcome back to Wednesday shows. Another bit of news is that 10.8, the update we're about to dive into, is a 3-week update. For those of you unfamiliar, that's a really short update. So if we have a lot of cool stuff we're showing you today, and it's pretty quickly going to be followed up by even more cool stuff. So hope that you enjoy everything you're about to see, and know that we're just going to keep cranking it out at a scary fast rate. To continue down the line, I don't know if any of y'all have missed this, but we are giving away 10 million gems. Like 10 million, 8,000, or some crazy number like that, but it's a lot. We're giving away over 10 million gems between July 28th, which was my birthday, and August 18th. And the way this works, you don't have to sign up for anything. You don't have to, as long as you have Smite and you play Smite, you are eligible. Every half hour, we are giving somebody random 10,000 gems. And it's anybody who has played within the last hour. So if you play, if you time your hour right, you can hit, that one game will cover 2 half-hour periods. So it's when you finish a game for the next hour, you are eligible for a draw. And that's it. Just play games of Smite 24/7. Doesn't matter what time of the day it is. If you work all day, you have a job like a lot of people do, don't worry about it. Get home, hit those night queues, hit those evening queues. If you're all about the demon hours, it's 5 a.m., you're like, I bet nobody's playing Smite at 5 a.m., my odds are better. Big brain thinking right there. Get in there, earn your gems. So this is going to continue going until August 18th. You have like 2 weeks minimum, like 2 weeks and 2 days or something. I'm not good at math, but either way, you have a lot of time left. So hop in there and just try to earn some free gems. We were thinking, what could we do big for Smite Year 10? And this felt like it. So 10 million, 10 years, here's to more. One last piece of community news, we have a lot this time, is the Race to Diamond. So that went out, and some of y'all went crazy. Some of y'all took care on and really went down the river with it. And we have been so hyped to see the excitement, hyped to see y'all rushing for it. We already announced the winners of the Speedrunner title. So those 10 are locked in stone and will be receiving their rewards with this update next Tuesday. But you're still eligible to earn the Diamond Charon avatar. That just had to be done before the end of the update. So not a lot of time left. Make sure you're really grinding those queues and trying to get those worshipers so that you can still earn that title. Again, next Tuesday with the launch of the update. I don't know if any of you... Hello everybody and welcome to another beautiful Smite update show. I am Titan Dandy for those of you who don't know me, and I'm super happy to be here and super excited to be on the show. I know those of you who tuned in earlier saw that the art show is going on a hiatus for a while. It is a bummer, but as Anna said, it's always going to come back. There's a lot of cool stuff we're working on, and we just want to wish her the best in her travels and, getting adjusted to new life. It can be a scary thing. So, we hate to see that, but we want to keep seeing y'all's art. We love seeing that in the community and all over the place. So looking forward to more of that as we move down the road. But anyway, we got a lot in store today. So this is the 10.8 update for those of you who didn't feel like reading the title. And there's a lot of stuff. We have Avatar: The Last Airbender content, which we've been so hyped to show y'all, alongside the new arena and some balance changes, some other stuff. Super exciting, and we're going to dive right into it. Starting by me introducing my two beautiful guests today, Aggro and Lermy. How are y'all?
What's up?
Super
Tired.
Good. I know, right? You haven't been here in a while, Dad.
I have not. Yeah, just working my way back in from paternity leave. So if I fall asleep mid-episode, it is not, or mid-show, it's not because it's not exciting or anything like that. It's because it's physically impossible for me to stay awake for too many hours in a row.
You know what? I can only understand the easiest bit of that. Like, I stay awake for non-important things. I can't imagine being awake 24/7 for something so important.
It's not my choice. It's his choice. You know?
Well, it's his choice that matters now.
Yeah.
So, super cool. Well, let's start off with some news, shall we? We have a whole bunch of news that we can talk about, starting with, this is a Wednesday show. Hello. Good to see you again. It's been a while since we've had a show on a Wednesday, and for the time being, this is how it's going to be. We tried out Thursday. It worked. We had reasons that we talked about forever ago. We wanted to make sure that our different teams had what they needed, and as we've talked and the show has continued forward, we thought, well, we want to give a little more time back to PTS to make sure that it is as impactful. It's a lot of I's in one sentence. As it should be. So we're giving this extra day. PTS will be going live, which I'll say again at the end of the show, later today theoretically. So we just wanted to make sure we had that extra time to really hear what the community had to say. So welcome back to Wednesday shows moving forward. Another bit of news is that 10.8, the update we're about to dive into, is a 3-week update. For those of you unfamiliar, that's a really short update. So if, we have a lot of cool stuff we're showing you today, and it's pretty quickly going to be followed up by even more cool stuff. So, hope that you enjoy everything you're about to see, and know that we're just going to keep cranking it out at a scary fast rate. To continue down the line, I don't know if any of y'all have missed this, but we are giving away 10 million gems. Like 10 million, 8,000, or some crazy number like that, but it's a lot. We're giving away over 10 million gems between July 28th, which was my birthday, and August 18th. And the way this works, you don't have to sign up for anything. You don't have to, as long as you have Smite and you play Smite, you are eligible. Every half hour, we are giving somebody random 10,000 gems. And it's anybody who has played within the last hour. So if you play, if you time your hour right, you can hit, that one game will cover 2 half-hour periods. So it's when you finish a game for the next hour, you are eligible for a draw. And that's it. Just play games of Smite 24/7. Doesn't matter what time of the day it is. If you work all day, you have a job like a lot of people do, don't worry about it. Get home, hit those night queues, hit those evening queues. If you're all about the demon hours, it's 5 a.m., you're like, I bet nobody's playing Smite at 5 a.m., my odds are better. Big brain thinking right there. Get in there, earn your gems. So this is going to continue going until August 18th. You have 2 weeks minimum, 2 weeks and 2 days or something. I'm not good at math, but either way, you have a lot of time left. So hop in there and just try to earn some free gems. We were thinking, what could we do big for Smite Year 10, and this felt like it. So 10 million, 10 years, here's to more. And one last piece of community news, we had a lot this time, is the Race to Diamond. So that went out, and some of y'all went crazy. Some of y'all took Charon and really went down the river with it, and we have been so hyped to see the excitement, hyped to see y'all rushing for it. We already announced the winners of the Speedrunner title, so those 10 are locked in stone and will be receiving their rewards with this update next Tuesday, but you're still eligible to earn the Diamond Charon avatar. That just had to be done before the end of the update, so not a lot of time left. Make sure you're really grinding those queues and trying to get those worshipers so that you can still earn that title. Again, next Tuesday with the launch of the update. So, whew! All right, well, that was a lot of talking. Thank y'all for bearing with me through that. And we have a little more we're going to talk about. Moving to esports now. Esports actually has a bunch of cool stuff coming up, starting with the Summer Solstice event, which is next weekend, not this coming weekend, the weekend after the update. This event will kick off. They'll have the Order versus Chaos divisionals. And all of that moving forward, which is really exciting. And then the weekend after that, so, patch weekend, next weekend, it's getting complicated. They have a website, you can look at all the dates there. But they're going to have stuff like the Salt Summer Tournament and even more following up. So they got Roll Stars on the way, lots of stuff coming down the line. Make sure to check out the Smite Esports website for all of these dates so that, it's a better explanation than what I just tried to give you. And yeah, check out all this cool weekend event. We're spooling up a lot of awesome esports content, and I'm excited to see it because I love this stuff. And I hope y'all have been keeping up with all of this roster drama going on Twitter. It's been fun. So last but not least in this section, some quality of life changes. I love bringing you the stuff that's just nice. One of them, we have two, is that they have updated the jungle practice QR, or will in this coming update. So for those of you who are getting in jungle practice and trying out your favorite god and learning the mechanics and how to do that ult combo, some new QR for when you're hopping in there. And last but not least, our boy Marty Martikaros, avatars in the game coming up. So just get ready for a super cool new god avatar. I've been playing a lot of Martikaros in duo lane, throwing down those mad Qs, poisoning people. It's been a joy. So and yeah, it feels cool, you know, with the creator of Martikaros right next to me. I'm like, I love it. So awesome. Let's continue down the road here and get into some skins. How about it?
Oh yeah.
So these skins are from 2 chests, starting with the Fun Guy chest. We have Fungal Fury Danzaburo.
This skin is so funny.
It is
Holy cow, man.
So much.
It is
It's so cute.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I haven't seen I don't remember any of these things. My brain has just been so unplugged, and this is incredible. I love this skin.
Okay, a very important thing I have to interrupt you with here. There's a little buddy on his shoulder you'll see here in this art. He makes a very important appearance in the skin, as you will see very soon.
excellent. Yeah, well, I do think I think we have the skin turnaround for this too.
Oh, good.
So
Look at him. Look at
Oh
him
my
go.
God,
Look at him.
he's on his gun.
is he like jiggling too?
Oh yeah, he be jiggling.
Wait, he's got a lot of buddies. Oh my God, he really is jiggling. Are we allowed to do that?
Yeah, dude, he's just a little guy.
Oh, okay.
He's a little mushroom guy.
And you can see him hanging out in the little basket in the back, and he's got the mushrooms ready to go, you know, in case he ever needs to, you know, have a little snack.
Yeah, a little snack. Seems kind of weird, a mushroom eating mushrooms. But hey, you know what? You heard it here first. So this will be one of the 2 skins coming in the Fun Guy chest. The next chest is called the Nightmare Fuel chest. And that's going to have Splitting Nightmare Agni.
I adore.
Yeah.
So much.
That is
That's
so
I
sick.
was about to say, it's Nightmare Fuel, so adore might not be the word I would use, but I loathe it in an affectionate way.
That is incredible.
Yes, we have Fungal Fury Danza. So, these skins are from 2 chests, starting with the Fun Guy chest. We have Fungal Fury Danzaburo.
This skin is so funny.
It is
Holy cow, man.
So much.
It is
It's so cute.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I haven't seen I don't remember any of these things. My brain has just been so unplugged, and this is incredible. I love this skin.
Okay, a very important thing I have to interrupt you with here. There's a little buddy on his shoulder you'll see here in this art. He makes a very important appearance in the skin, as you will see very soon.
excellent. Yeah, well, I do think we have the skin turnaround for this too.
Oh, good.
So
Look at him. Look at
Oh
him
my
go.
God,
Look at him.
he's on his gun.
is he like jiggling too?
Oh yeah, he be jiggling.
Wait, he's got a lot of buddies. Oh my God, he really is jiggling.
So good.
Are we allowed to do that?
Yeah, dude, he's just a little guy.
Oh, okay.
He's a little mushroom guy.
And you can see him hanging out in the little basket in the back, and he's got the mushrooms ready to go, you know, in case he ever needs to, you know, have a little snack.
Yeah, a little snack. Seems kind of weird, a mushroom eating mushrooms. But hey, you know what? You heard it here first. So this will be one of the 2 skins coming in the Fun Guy chest. The next chest is called the Nightmare Fuel chest. And that's going to have Splitting Nightmare Agni.
I adore this art
Yo.
so much.
That is
That's-
so
I
sick.
was about to say, it's Nightmare Fuel, so adore might not be the word I would use, but I loathe it in an affectionate way.
That is incredible. Rip this bottom guy, by the way. See, yeah, these 2. I don't like their odds, to be
He's the
honest.
little guy in the middle. the
Yeah,
big one.
yeah, that one, he's toast.
Yeah.
Like, just leave him. Do your best.
It's one of
but
those Twitter posts. What would you do in this situation?
yeah, run.
I would simply get away.
Yeah, I would simply not let that happen to me in the first place.
Oh
And
my
here's the
gosh.
turnaround for him. I love that like torn down the middle look too.
Well, there's an eyeball in
there
there.
is an eyeball in there.
He's got to see, guys. I mean, where else would
That's
he
true.
see from?
You know, I've never thought about what that would look like looking through a chest cavity.
Chest
Yeah.
cavity.
I'm not that eager to find out either, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't need to look through a chest cavity. So again, this is Splitting Nightmare Agni coming at you in the Nightmare Fuel chest. We have those 2 chests that we're excited to show off, but now we're gonna dive into some balance. All right. So this first bit I feel like has been talked about a lot in the past couple weeks, and it's soul surges. And I'll just let y'all take away with what we're doing to Soul Surges.
Yeah, so we've heard your feedback, very much so. And we are so glad that, we got a chance to try them and we thought that they were a really interesting addition.
Yeah.
But we are going to be removing them from this next update because we just feel like, there are some things that we could improve on them. But we're going to put it kind of back in the tank for now, see if we can cook it up later if people do miss it eventually. But we want to just, make sure that everyone's still having a good experience. And we feel like this feature just, may have missed the mark a little bit.
Gotcha. I mean, good to hear, and that's how all things go, We listen to y'all's feedback, and if you don't like it, we're happy to pull it down. Who's to say it won't come back in the future? We love tweaking things and trying to make them better and kicking them back out, but we heard what y'all had to say, and, we like making the game as fun as possible. So thank you for your feedback, and bye, Soul Surges. Bye, Ghost stopping my back. Weep. All right, so next up, Conquest. We got some Conquest talking to do, starting with a little bit of a change to the Stygian Beacon.
Yeah, Stygian Beacon has been really exciting, we think.
I love it.
Loved seeing how players are interacting with having to group up for this objective frequently, but not too frequently throughout the match.
Yeah.
And we think that we're really happy with the types of fights, the dynamic aspect that it brings to the map. We just want to see it happen a little bit more frequently.
Okay.
So the cooldown is going from 6 minutes to 5 minutes on these Stygian Beacons. And that will also mean that the Unleashed Titans will happen a little bit earlier in the match if you're standing on the point. As soon as it comes up,
Yeah.
you're catching those off cooldown. That means the Titan fight will end up happening a little bit earlier in the match, which we also think will help smooth out the flow of a typical Conquest
Yeah.
match.
Got it.
Yeah, hopefully it'll help, give the Titan fight a little bit more of its own unique time to shine versus having it compete with things like Fire Giant, like with EFG kind of being right around the corner. It's like
Yeah.
a little bit less to balance in that regard. It has its own place now in terms of when it's spawning. About that 24, 25-minute mark is like the later end of where you see it nowadays.
Got it. Well, and I'm super excited for that because honestly, that's been one of my favorite changes that has come out of this.
Yep.
Because I love having that point to fight over. I love this kind of mandatory team fight that shows up. It's been a blast. So
Agreed.
excited to see it sticking around and happening a little sooner too. I think that'll shake it up.
Yep.
So next up, it looks like as the Titans get unleashed, their stats are changing a little bit.
Yes, this is more so of a shift. Because we're moving it up earlier, we have to change exactly what kind of stats it has. Because again,
Yeah.
if you're moving it forward, 3-ish,
Yeah.
it has to be a little bit, different interaction with it. So
Yeah.
we are going to be increasing the base health and the physical stuff, but it's also going to be, base magical procs, physical power, XP, gold, all that stuff to more appropriate amounts for that time, making it a little bit worthwhile to actually have everyone group up and fight around it, and make sure that it's strong enough to really fight through, the crowds of guns
Yeah.
at that point. Because, you gotta make sure that with those times being different, the Titan also feels different.
Yeah, got it. That sounds good. And last but not least, EFG, like you said, Enhanced Fire Giant, getting some changes.
Oh my fucking gosh. I can't never just fucking watch a fucking vlog. Why does he keep popping up?
At that point. Because, you gotta make sure that with those times being different, the Titan also feels different.
Yeah, got it. Well, that sounds good. And last but not least, EFG, like you said, Enhanced Fire Giant, getting some changes too.
So EFG has felt really tanky. That's some feedback that we've heard from players, and we dove into it, and it turned out that it was getting twice as many stats as it should have on its transformation from, it was truly enhanced.
Yeah, very
And
enhanced.
it was like enhanced in all caps, and we want it to just be like uppercase E and then like normal the rest of the way. So normalizing those stats, it's only worrying about the enhancement stats though. So FG completely unchanged, exactly how it has been. Now post 30 minutes, it should be a little bit easier to take down EFG or generate a fight that isn't quite as threatening around the enhanced fight.
Got it. So Enhanced Fire Giant, remove the bolding and underline from Enhanced.
Exactly.
Got it. Cool. So next up, Joust. There are actually a couple item changes, or quite a few little item changes coming to Joust, huh?
This is a bit of a complicated change because
Uh-oh.
remember a few patches back, we removed all star items from Joust and did a couple of other adjustments to, adding purple camp, adding additional effects to the blue and the red, and the powers, having, the ability to reduce protections. That all was great. The only thing that wasn't great is the item curve and how players were feeling about going out of base without a starter item, because starter items have been in the game for years at this point.
Long time.
And it's the only mode that doesn't really have them aside from Duel, which is a little bit different. You know, that can kind of be in its own little area, you know. But Joust is a core mode to us, so we want to make sure that we are keeping an eye on it. And so what we're actually doing here is we are re-adding starter items back, excluding support starter items, because if you recall, one of the biggest problems that we were trying to address was a double tank meta that really involved diving under towers and just kind of overwhelming, you know, the one backliner that you had with your pure tank brutality. So we found that the reason that that was happening is because support starter items were generating a lot of gold, they had a lot of helpful effects, and because of how Joust's XP curve works, you were getting to level 15 and able to upgrade those starter items a little bit faster than everyone else. So you were getting a lot of power potential out of those guys. Even though, you know, they're support starter items, right? People don't tend to think that those are like the really strong ones, but they definitely are strong. The other change here that we're doing is we're banning Emperor's Armor from Joust specifically. And this is another item that caused additional problems with that diving potential like we were talking about. It was kind of a race to whoever got Emps first, because if one team has Emperor's Armor, the other team needs to have Emperor's Armor, else you're kind of just, you know, getting dove for free, essentially. So we just don't want that to be kind of the pinnacle of what people are fighting about anymore. We want it to be more organically about finding an advantage throughout the farm by getting buff camps and all of that other essential core Joust stuff. Other than, you know, one or two or, you know, all the starter has Emperor's Armor, the other team needs to have Emperor's Armor, else you're kind of just, you know, getting dove for free, essentially. So we just don't want that to be kind of the pinnacle of what people are fighting about anymore. We want it to be more organically about finding an advantage throughout the farm by getting buff camps and all of that other essential core Joust stuff. Other than, you know, one or two or, you know, all the starter items or
buy item win game.
Kind of changing the mode in a way that we didn't like. So starter items back, no support starter items, Emperors banned, done.
Cool beans. All right, so to continue going down, we're into items now. Now, there is one game mode we didn't talk about, but we'll get there. You'll trust me, we'll get there.
Excited for that one.
So, but we got to get through some other balance first. It's also important. So starting with items and starter items, there's a handful of those that got changed. Lono's masks and some prots and Spartan flag, it looks like.
Yeah, so Lono's mask is one of those items that requires you to hit a certain stat threshold in order to get the full benefit of its passive. And whenever we adjusted a lot of the tier 3 item stats a few patches ago, these were some items that we knew that we might want to take a look at, but didn't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, put it in a position where it's, you know, moving this knob and this knob at the same time, and it just ends up being a little bit harder to really gauge the strength of an item when you're adjusting both ends of the spectrum.
That makes sense.
After the dust has settled a little bit on that change, we've definitely seen that Lono's mask is underperforming a little bit. Especially considering that it does come with a built-in downside if you aren't hitting these thresholds. You know, it isn't like an item like Prophetic Cloak where you're getting good benefits, and then if you hit your thresholds, you're getting even more benefit. You're getting a negative until you hit these thresholds. So Lono's mask just going from requiring 50 protections from items per stack down to 45, which is taking its overall prots required from items in order to get all 5 stacks properly, going from 250 to 225. So not a massive change or anything like that, but should be a little bit easier to hit that very, very important threshold for Lonos.
Got it. And then, Spartan flag also looking like it's getting just some GP5 increase a little bit and some attack speed.
Yeah, so this is one item that you might say has been kind of also left in the dust, unfortunately. We finally are in a place where War Flag is purchasable in Conquest. We're so happy about that. We're going to be people trying it. But Spartan flag was the one that was not really the inline one. It's the one where it spawns a deployable flag, and you gather around it and you battle. But the one thing that we noticed about it that was kind of inconsistent was that it was not providing the right amount of GP5, so we wanted to increase that to keep it in line with everyone else. It shouldn't have worse GP5 than its other starter item that was more popular. So we wanted to adjust that, and then additionally we wanted to make it a little bit more enticing and kind of keep that war flag idea present in Spartan flag by bringing back that attack speed kind of element from the original starter item.
You got to rally around the banner, get that attack speed, and push forward.
Exactly.
All right, so next up, some basic attack tank items, and I love my tank items. Berserker Shield getting a buff, Shogun's Kusari also getting a buff. So let's dive into the shield.
Yeah, so auto attack warriors, you know, we've heard a lot of the feedback about how good or not good they are feeling. We know that this isn't going to massively move the needle, but while we're trying to figure out exactly the ways that we want to bump them back up, this is just a little something to hopefully tide over those players until we can make some hopefully larger changes. So Berserker's Shield just getting a little bit of a cost decrease from 2,400 to 2,300, and increasing the health threshold from when you get that Berserk passive from 50% to 60%. In particular, that passive change might not seem like a huge deal, but we've seen buffs just like that for like Sun Wukong passive end up being really, really impactful. Just getting access to a pretty big passive buff more frequently and at a less of a risky health threshold usually ends up making a pretty big difference. So hopefully this Berserker's change will help out those Berserker Shield users.
Got it. Bring those stats up. And then Shogun's Kusari looks like a bump to health in the magical prods.
This is kind of along those same lines. It gives them a little bit of help. We want to just make sure that Shogun's feels really good to pick up, and this is also kind of in the line of support items as well.
Yep.
You might see it picked up on, you know, your Fafnirs, or if you have a 2 ADCs, or a magical ADC and a regular one. You know, this is an item that's really good for those, or even like your Kali's, Arachnes, Bakasuras of the world.
Yep.
So this is just another very helpful item. We're taking the health up a little bit. And we're also increasing the magical protections, because when we went and shifted everybody down, this guy went down pretty far in comparison to everybody else. So we want to make sure that it's kind of still in line with other really applicable tank items by giving it a little bit more help there.
Got it. Hey, again, I'm all about tank item buffs, so because I be running tank basically all the time. So next up, some underutilized healing items getting a bit of love. Looks like Rejuvenating Heart and Sekhmet Scepter both getting a buff.
Yeah, Rejuvenating Heart, I think, is one that we've seen these types of buffs be very successful in the past, where we get to increase the per stack healing dealt and just decrease the max stacks. So you just hit that threshold so much easier, a lot less hoops to jump through. 8 is a lot in order to get for basically any of these types of stacking items. So bringing it down more in line with a lot of other similar items down to 5, I think we'll see Rejuvenating Heart players seeing a lot more success.
Cool. And then for Sekhmet Scepter?
Kind of along the similar lines. This is kind of for a different group of people. This
Yeah,
is for our physical characters. Reju is for our magical characters.
Yeah.
So Sekhmet is getting a cost decrease. It was just a little prohibitively expensive. And we also wanted to decrease the buff duration from 6 seconds to 5 seconds, which will theoretically, you know, make it a little bit more of this concise place to, you know, use it with. But we're also increasing the cooldown benefit from 0.5 seconds to 1 second. And so when we released this item, we were a little bit concerned that it could be crazy, right? And a lot of cooldown potential.
Yes.
But the problem is with items like this is that when the increments are so small, it is really hard to notice. It's really hard to see exactly what it is doing, right? So we want to kind of give a little, take a little, right? But we want to do a little bit more give than we are take. So again, the duration's going down, but now you'll be able to notice that cooldown going down a little bit more.
1 second.
And you'll be actually understanding, oh my god, my Sekhmet Scepter is actually popping off now. Like, you'll have those really fun moments, and you'll be able to notice them a little bit easier because, again, increments bigger.
Yeah, cool. That makes sense. I'm all about it. So next up, we're delving into the physical ability damage item part of the woods. And there's a couple here. We have a Brawler's Beatstick, Heartseeker, and the Crusher. So at the top, Brawler's Beatstick.
Yep, nice and easy one here. Just a little bit too expensive for Brawler's Beatstick, 2,500 to 2,400. Just making it so it's a little bit easier to itemize into that anti-heal. If we're going to be buffing things like Rejuvenating Heart and Sekhmet Scepter, you know, we are understanding that heavy healer metas are potentially very frustrating to play against. We want to make sure that players feel like they have good, appealing options in order to counteract that. Making Brawlers a little bit more accessible is an easy way to do it.
Got it. Well, dive into Heartseeker for me. So the threshold has changed?
Yes, so this again is kind of another one of those threshold changes that we were seeing with like the Lonos Mask stuff that we talked earlier, where it's just a little bit difficult to hit that 300 power threshold without like you being literal last item, end game, power pot, red buff type of deal.
Yep.
So I wanted to make sure that that upper threshold that's really affecting the kind of tank side of things a little bit more is going to, you know, be affected even heavier a little bit earlier. So again, really good item. It's just going to be a lot easier to actually get to that point. It's more realistic at this point that you can get this like 5th item and not really need to have completely full, totally done build to get to that point.
Yep.
Cool. And then last but not least here, we have the Crusher, also getting a bit of a buff, some decreased costs and maybe a little attack speed.
Yeah, Crusher, one of those items that, you know, has historically been both an assassin item and a hunter item at times.
Yeah.
Seen it do gone through a little bit of a shift where it was flat pen, now percent pen. And we just have felt like it is one of those items that is close to be, you know, some characters, some players will really love, they build a Crusher almost every game.
Yeah.
Some players, nah, not quite worth it for them. And it used to be this item that felt just good to build on because of that attack speed.
Yeah.
We are wary of what this can do to hunter builds, though. But
enough.
with their lack of good percent pen options, really outside of dominance, of course, Executioner works well for them, but that requires them to hit a bunch of autos.
Of course.
Maybe some hunters like Chiron and Uller are going to feel a little bit better building something like Crusher now that it has just a little bit more attack speed on it.
Yeah, I mean, sounds good though. I love attack speed because that means when I miss every other attack, I'm shooting the next one out faster. So works perfectly for me. Last but not least, in the item area, we have some mage items. So this one actually has a handful: Bancroft's Talon, Book of Thoth, Evolved Book of Thoth, and the Rod plus its glyph. So I mean, let's dive in. What's Bancroft's Talon doing?
Yeah, these are some really exciting changes because they also affect some of our glyphs as well. So Bancroft's Talent and its glyphs are getting an increased magical power from 70 to 80, so it's an extra power. This, the most important thing about these changes that you'll see is they kind of cover 2 or 3 different build paths, right? You're not really going to be building Bancrofts in your book builds, so we want to kind of make sure that we're kind of catching every kind of mage and a little bit of lifesteal, a little bit of mana building, and just kind of your Round of Tahuti characters that like to get that towards the end game. You're kind of spreading out that love between the beginning of the game with your book and your Talon, and your late game with Round of Tahuti.
Cool, kind of sweeping the whole array of mage players. So it's good because that way I can pick up any mage I want and be like, hey, look at that little buff action. So moving into that, you mentioned the book build, both Book of Thoth and its evolution getting a little bump as well.
Yep, base Book of Thoth going from 60 to 70 power, and then Evolved Book of Thoth, of course, also going to reflect that, but also getting a little bit of a passive buff where the mana conversion is going from 6%. 7%.
That's nice.
Again, 1 percentage point here actually does make a pretty big difference for Book. And like Lermy said, not a lot of characters are building Book of Thoth and Bancroft's Talon or any of its glyphs. That's a little hint. If you are one who's building both of those, might want to look for something a little bit more efficient for you there.
Dang, now you're getting build advice here.
Got a little tip,
today, huh?
Yep.
All right, so to end with the items, the Rod of Tahuti and its glyphs, also getting a magic power bump.
Same kind of idea, just at the end of the game, just kind of round out a lot of people's builds. Just nice little
Got buff mages.
cap on the end of your build.
Cool. A nice little, it's the sprinkles on top.
Yep.
So awesome. Well, that does it for items. We're in the God world now. Starting with the buffs and starting in the A category, we have Ares. Looks like Shackles and Bolster Defense both getting a little bit of love.
Yeah, I mean, Ares, what is his identity? He does a lot of damage for a Guardian if you hit your skill shots, and he cripples. That's the big thing, and of course the big ultimate as well. So we want to lean into that identity of why are you picking Ares? It's to cripple characters more consistently. Shackles being on a little bit of a lower cooldown will help a lot with that. And Ares is a character that doesn't typically build a whole lot of cooldown reduction at a high level.
Yeah.
So giving him a little bit more significant of a cooldown buff there with 2 seconds. And Bolster Defense is a very strong ability, but like Lermy was saying, with the smaller amount of cooldown reductions on the Sekhmet's passive, something like crowd control reduction isn't always super visible to the player. But we promise 30% CCR to you and your whenever. It's a big area too, and it lasts for a really long time. This will make a big difference if you can just remember to press 2 before you or your teammates get CC'd. That's all you got to do.
It's like you were saying with Book a second ago. 1% can be a big percentile depending on what you're talking about.
Yep.
So 30% is a lot. So super cool. And also, this is totally unrelated. I wonder if there's a way to figure out. I bet Ares is one of the best training tools for I should remember to use beads and get beads more often.
I remember when I learned that you could beads Ares ultimate. Because before that I was like, this character is so OP, what do I possibly do? And then I discovered what purification beads were. And it got a lot easier.
It's a teaching tool. Yep. Ares is one where I see him and I'm like, all right, if I don't have beads, do I have an ability that gets immunity? Because burning ult is worth not getting destroyed. So.
Yep.
Trial by fire, even.
Trial by fire. So next up, Artio. Still in the A's, still talking Guardians here, but got a handful of things: Decompose, Energy Surge, and Maul Prey, all getting the love of the buff array.
So Artio has been a little bit out of the meta. She's been a little bit absent nowadays, and we kind of are going back to our little stat squish mechanism here with Decompose, where 6 stacks again is a lot of stacks. It's a lot of abilities you got to be hitting. A lot of ticks of abilities you've got to be hitting to get that full protection debuff happening. So we are just taking the stacks down to 4, and then we are increasing the amount per stack from 2 to 3. So it's about the same spot, just a little bit easier to get there. So it's not the top end, not going up. Bottom end is going up.
Yep.
Got it.
That's going to be nice. With Energy Surge and Maul of Prey, we're just giving her a little bit of damage because, you know, she is a stat switcher, right? So her clear is theoretically pretty good, right? She gets to use 4 abilities in a lane, but her clear is not great, let me tell you. So we are just bringing it up a little bit, just a smidge. 5 at all ranks is, you know, not too super scary for Maul of Prey, which is, you know, once per swipe, and then 10, of course, on Energy Surge, just giving her a little bit extra clear help to be able to stand up to those lane bullies.
Got it. Super cool. I mean, having come from an area where RDO was like running me down all the time, like, you know, I want to see her come back because I like playing her, but
It's very fun.
scary bear.
Yep.
All right, so next up we have a Wheelix, Moonlight Charge, Gravity Surge, both getting some love, a little assassin love here.
Yeah, this is a shout out to Chris Lee, the Elite Effects artist.
That's true.
Our little Willix one trick. Increasing the scaling on the 3, you know, obviously hits very hard in the early game, just giving her a little bit more help to stay threatening throughout the later stages of the game.
Got it.
And Gravity Surge is in a spot where it actually is very threatening stat-wise in the later stages of the
Oh, yeah.
game.
Yeah.
You get so much power and so much attack speed.
Immunities.
And immunity, yeah, knock-up immunity, all that kind of good stuff.
A lot of stuff.
It's a really good ability. But in the early game, it doesn't feel, it really feels like I have to pull someone with it.
Yeah.
By the time you get it to rank 5 at level 20, you feel like you can use it just for its stats and for its knock-up immunity and feel like you're getting this big power boost. And we want to bring a little bit of that feeling to the early game. So just upping the floor of that attack speed that you gain. It was 30 scaling up to 70. Now it's 50 scaling up to 70. So still ending in the same spot for Gravity Surge, but just making that early game, you know, empowered moment feel a little bit more impactful.
That's kind of her identity, right? If she's
Yep.
in that early game, kind of, she'll run you down.
Yeah.
You have a leap. You better have beads. But we want to give her a little bit of that identity back and give her, you know, especially the players that are using that ability very frequently, because the cooldown is low.
That's true.
Low. A little bit more reward for slamming the button.
Yeah, sounds good. That's one of those characters that I always love because, you know, if your team builds around you, you're always pulling people. You can always
Yeah,
get that
that's
pick.
so fun.
Yeah, then
Yep.
the enemy team has jumps, and you're like, no, you don't.
Yep.
And then you get that one game where like your team forgot to build knockups, the enemy team doesn't have any jumps, and you're just like, well, I get my stats though.
Right.
But now you can poke better.
Yeah, say now the stats are even better. So that like there was a sad tone, it's not there anymore. Next up, Shock, one of my favorite OGs, getting some love as well. Torrent and Rain Dance both getting a little shine.
So Chalk has seen quite a number of buffs over the past few months, I want to
Yes.
Still is not performing very well, which is just unfortunate for little old Chalk. But we're going to give him some more love. So Torrent is getting another one of those stats pushes. He's going to be getting less stacks of them, but again, increasing the protection, so you'll just be able to get to that max prots a little bit easier. It'll be a little bit tankier for him, so even though he doesn't really have an escape, he's got a little bit more help now because he's going to have access to that tankiness just a little bit easier.
Yep.
And on top of that, a little bit of extra sustain. You know, 1 second doesn't feel like a lot, but believe me, when that starts stacking up throughout the game, those 15 seconds roll by, and you're going to be like, oh, you know, I feel rather healthy for this point in the game.
Yeah.
And, you know, hopefully that feels very good for y'all. But that is Chalk.
That is Chalk. Well, all good stuff for Chalk. Moving on to another buff boy, Gilgamesh too, our boy. Sunforge Scimitar, Heroes Advance, both, again, seeing a little love in the buff section here.
Yeah, Gilgamesh we know is one that we always have to be a little bit careful about because we've
Gilgamesh
seen how quickly
that
he
thing.
can dominate a meta. But we still feel like he isn't quite bringing enough impact whenever he is picked. So Sunforge Scimitar is giving him another 0.5% of his max health per hit. And remember that he just lost a lot of max HP because of the tier 3 item changes, losing a lot of max HP, so shouldn't be nearly as scary as it once was. And then same thing with Heroes Advance. Warriors in particular, they rely so much on their base damage. 10 base damage doesn't feel like a lot on paper, but ends up usually being fairly big.
Yeah, when you're getting hit with it in lane, the impact is there.
Yep.
When you think about the amount of times they use this ability per game, it does.
Yep, it does. It very much does. Next up, a story of a man and a horse. We have Lancelot, another definitely one of my favorite assassins. I love the horse mechanics. Mount Up, speaking of the horse, and Crashing Dive, both getting a little, I don't know, horsier. I was trying to think of a good horse joke, but better, haha.
So Lancelot's mount up ability is the one where he hops on the horse, gets a shield. We have found, though, that it's been very easy to knock poor Lance off his horse. Don't like that. So I want to give him a little bit more ability to get on that horse and feel like you can keep it instead of getting knocked off right away. And lose it. So we're decreasing the time it takes to get to that max shield. We're not changing the value of the shield. We're just changing the time it takes to get there from 4 seconds to 3 seconds. So just 1 extra second that you'll be able to get up on the horse, have that shield, and be ready to fight, right?
Yeah, it'll spool up.
You want to wait a little bit in terms of going in. You want to wait till that shield's ready to go, and then hop on in. And speaking of hopping in, or crashing in, shall I say.
Shall you say.
We wanted to give him a little bit more kill potential back, because that's another thing that we have felt that Lance has been struggling at a little bit.
Fair
is
enough.
that, you know, picking between crash and dive and the gallop ability is a little bit difficult sometimes. So you want to make sure that crashing dive does have like its place in terms of when you are full committing to someone, this is the one that you want to go for. It does more damage. The other one's better for poke. So giving that a little bit extra scaling damage is going to make sure that, you know, he has to build into power to actually get this extra bit of scaling to really feel like a lot.
Yeah.
But it is going to be very helpful in those full commit engagements.
Awesome. Sounds good. Looks like you got him. He already had horse riding lessons. Now you got him horse not falling off lessons and horse when to jump off lessons. So a lot of good stuff from my boy. Really, really treating him. So next up, Medusa, the scary snake lady. Acid spray and petrify. I love petrify. Both getting a little love as well.
Yeah, acid spray, just trying to let her keep up with wave clear of some of the more popular hunters right now. Acid spray just getting a little bit of base damage and a tiny bit of scaling. And then petrify a little bit more exciting, I think, where we're increasing the damage taken by enemies not looking at Medusa by a little bit more. So previously you would take 75% of the damage if you weren't looking at Medusa, and of course you would get slowed instead of stunned.
Yeah.
Now you will take 85% of the damage instead. Still be slowed instead of stunned though. So still got to be looking at her in order to get stunned.
Yeah.
That full damage, I think it's still going to feel a lot burstier for those that she can catch looking at her.
Yeah.
But this ability has felt a little underwhelming whenever players were able to quickly turn away.
Yeah, flick that camera.
Exactly. Now that won't feel quite as bad for the Medusa player.
Got it. Yeah, it's definitely one of those. It's such a pivotal ult because like if you land it and there's 4 statues, you're like, I've done good work here today.
Yep.
And you know, if everybody's like, oh Medusa, we saw her spool and flick the camera, it's like, all right, come on, man, let me have this.
That's such a mind game ult.
It really is.
It really is.
All right, so next up, another bow and arrow carrier, Neath. Classic on the field, spirit arrow, a little bit of cooldown, and also some cooldown for Unravel.
Yeah, so Neath is another one of those ability hunters, and we've been noticing kind of as the season has progressed that ability hunters are just not the hottest right now. They're kind of falling off a little bit. Up the horse, you might say. Ha ha ha.
Lancelot. Anyway.
Spirit Arrow's cooldown and Unravel, both of Neath's main clear abilities, are going down in cooldown just a little bit to make sure that, you know, when you're leveling them up, you're going to be feeling a lot better about getting that clear up a little bit more often, having your tools there, because really for most hunters, their basic attacks are their tools, but for characters like Neath, her abilities are really what's going to be doing the majority of her damage. So if she's going to be having them up more often, she'll have more damage potential, not really have to rely as much on those basics. She's got a little bit more healing as well with Unravel. That cooldown going down as well. So extra sustain, extra damage, extra clear. You're just loving it.
An extra good time. Sounds awesome. So we're down to 2 left in the buff category.
This is a fun one.
Yeah, this is a fun one.
Up
Nice,
next.
I get it.
Now, both changes to Fogs and the soldiers, both pretty pog. Please explain that.
Yeah, so Nuwa is a character that we know dominates a lot of those non-conquest modes.
I love Nuwa.
She does a lot of damage when she's allowed to get those items, but now is a lot less threatening with getting so much less magical power through the item change. So we feel like this is the right time to give her a little bit of love, not in the damage department. So we wanted to stay away from that, but also wanted to make sure that she was feeling a little bit better. So previously, Mysterious Fog would say the same movement speed throughout the game, no matter what rank you were. Now it's going to get faster as the game goes on. So you will be able to make a little bit more tricky plays, feel a little bit shiftier, because your fog is going to be moving a little bit faster, and it will be easier to actually connect with that damage because it's moving faster. It's a faster projectile there.
So cool.
And then this is a really big one, Clay Soldiers. It used to be that you would get 1 Clay Soldier at rank 1, then ranks 2, 3, and 4, you would get 2, and then at rank 5, you would get 3. Having 1 soldier was a really bad feeling for Nuwa players, and many Nuwa players may not have been doing what, in my opinion, was the right thing to be doing, which is put a second point in the Clay Soldiers early, just to get that second
soldier
up. Just
up.
makes your stun so much more consistent, it tanks more, it does more damage, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
We're just, the single soldier, we're not messing with that anymore. Now, ranks 1 through 4, you will get those 2 soldiers, and then once you hit rank 5, as her identity is a big scaling character, she gets a big buff by getting that 5th point into her Clay Soldiers, but early game, levels 1 through like, 8 is usually when you'd put that other point in, or 7.
I do it level 4 personally.
Yeah, I don't even
I
think
can't
that's
be
wrong.
living with
With the one soldier.
Now you don't have to.
Yeah.
Just going to have a buddy all the time.
Awesome. Hey, again, like you just said, we've instituted the mandatory Clay Soldier buddy system. It's going to make everything feel better. That's super cool because I do love playing Nuwa, especially when you get her an assault or something. It just feels good.
Yep.
So, all right. So last but not least in the buff category, Yu Huang, Master of the Dao and Celestial Flight, both seeing a little bit of a pat on the back.
Yeah, so Yu Huang is a hard character.
True.
I found out very quickly. So one of the hardest mechanics about Yu Huang is his Dao management. And so one of the ways that we decided that we'd like to make it a little bit easier is by taking the time down that it takes for you to just get free stacks. It used to be 12 seconds on release. Now it's 6 seconds, which is very, very nice.
Much quicker.
A lot easier to work around, let me tell you. And then also, if you get that extra out-of-combat bonus, if you stand outside of combat for 3 seconds and you strike first, you are now going to get 2 now instead of 1 now. So it's just going to be a lot easier flow for you to be getting those extra enhanced abilities, and you'll be seeing them a lot more often without having to really worry about cultivating.
Yeah.
And then additionally on top of that, Celestial Flight just has a super long cooldown. But again,
Fair.
it is an incredibly safe ability, right?
It
So we
is.
wanted to be a little bit careful with this, but still give him a little bit of love, a little bit of safety, taking it down from just 20 to 20 to 18. And that's going to just help his safety, his repositioning, his dragon knockup if you really want to use it for that. But
Yeah.
all of the above. Very good changes.
Got it. I mean, sounds like good stuff. Yu Huang's always been really fun to play. That ult is so fun to land. So, yeah, always love to see a positive change and a fun character. So next up, we're moving into, there's only one god in this section, and this is God Shifts. And this one actually kind of came from a Reddit thread that Clumsy talked about, for those of you who are familiar with the GOAT Clumsy. So if y'all want to get into this, it's Ravana, there's been a lot of talk about Ravana over the past couple weeks. He's been a hot topic. So we're here, we're making some changes, and I'm going to let the more knowledgeable people explain them.
Yeah, so Raven was a part of our most recent bonus balance, and there was some pretty strong feedback coming out of that. The direction that we were trying to go wasn't exactly what our players wanted to see. I highly recommend. I think in the update notes there will be a link to Clumsy's response on Reddit, talking about how we came to our decision, what our reasonings were, and why we think we're okay to make a little bit of a shift happen there from what we implemented in that bonus balance. So the Hell Shield from Chain of Blows' passive is going back down to 7%. This was buffed up to 9 in the most recent full patch, and then nerfed down to 8. But we're going to fully revert it back to that 7% and give him back some of the damage on Prana Onslaught that we took away in the bonus balance, so that we can get him in the right spot. Again, I highly encourage you to go and look at Clumsy's response on Reddit, which you can find on the patch notes, in order to see the full reasoning for that.
Yeah, and I mean, again, this just goes to show that we say this a lot on the show, and I love saying it because of how true it is. It's one of my favorite parts about the way that we here at Titan Forge handle things. We love listening to y'all. And there are some changes that we can't make happen right away. I mean, like, we're miracle workers. We're not super miracle workers. It's just, I'm really proud of how much everybody from this team is always pointing out things that y'all are saying in the community. And this is, I think, a good example of it, is we made some changes, and there was a lot of people who said, hey, we don't really like those, and y'all shared them in these really constructive ways, and Reddit and Twitter and everything. And we love seeing that. We love reading the reasonings. We love seeing what people think and being able to implement changes where we're able to just make the game feel better for everybody. So I will thank y'all all again for all that you do to help give us this feedback to make this the best experience it can be. And encourage y'all to check out the update notes, which are live now. If you're not following along, you can use those to see everything we're saying on the screen. But to also check out that thread, because it's a big thread. It was really well written out by Clumsy, and it's just some insight into how we think. So super cool. Thank you all for sharing. And now we're on to the nerfs section. So let's check out some of these spicy nerfs. Starting with Charon. Damnation, just getting duped a little bit.
Yeah, so Charon has been a very interesting release.
It has been.
I don't know that I've really seen people be as torn as, is he super underpowered or is he super overpowered?
Yeah.
But if we're looking at the stats, he is super overpowered.
Yeah. He's up there.
He's like a 55% win rate in most modes, and that's very, very high.
Pretty high.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, people don't necessarily see the strength, but the strength is there.
Yeah.
Right? So we only want to give him a little love top down. The point of frustration that we've really seen has been from the shield component of Damnation. And so this is going to the health contribution aspect as well. So Charon himself is now going to be contributing less of his max health to the shield itself. So it'll just be a smaller shield overall, which I think is what the community has been asking for.
Yeah, that shield is so pivotal. So a nerf, but more of like it's timeout, but you get a juice bomb still, so don't worry about it. So cool. Next up, Izanami. Death draws an eye, getting some decreased power stacks. Looks like, or penetration stacks.
Yeah, exactly. Free penetration, we know, always very, very strong. Izanami has a lot of inherent strength, just having the best clear in the game, especially for a hunter.
Yeah.
So just making sure that she isn't killing those tanks quite as freely as she gets lower in HP. So just a little bit of a nerf for Izanami, and we'll see how she lands after this.
Got it. So next up is one of the fastest fellas on the battleground, my man Mercury. Special delivery getting a little bit of punishment here.
Yeah, this one hurts me.
Yeah, I feel that.
I've been grinding a lot of Merc out on stream, but
like
it's been a very good time as I've seen. But also the data has shown that as well. He's still very, very top ban and ranked. And we see a lot of assassins up there, where Mercury is definitely up there. And even though you might think crit's not, super meta, it's still very, very good, especially, if the enemy teams are building spectral armor, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. But yes, this in particular is not really a change to that aspect of him. It's more his combo potential and his damage to enemies that he is spinning around with a special delivery and throwing out into another 1-2 basic attacks or a mage look or any of that other stuff. So this is more so to stop the full combo, I just got spun into 2 crits in my face and now I'm dead aspect of Mercury, and not so much that other, like, if you just want to position really well and find people to smack a little bit, or if you are playing with your teammates who CC, this is more so you as a solo agent not being able to go as crazy.
Got it. I mean, that's fair. It does. As much as I like dealing out the punishment, it is always rough when I'm like the hunter and I just get wombo comboed and I'm like, no, please, Mercury, stop with the fists. All right, so next up, Sun Wukong, also getting a little nerf. Looks like undefeated body, maybe a little more defeated than it was.
Yeah, like I said, the passive for Wukong all of a sudden went from no one's feeling it to, wow, this is actually doing a lot.
Crazy.
Also a lot of, meta shifts, itemization changes that have kind of forced Wukong towards the top of the solo lane meta, but he's just getting a little bit too many free stats from this passive, and feel like this is a really good spot to tone down some of that damage. Wukong has always been known as a damage character out of solo, but we want him to actually have to build some of that damage and not just get it free.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. So 2 left in the nerfs department. One of the 2 being Susanoo with Wind Siphon and Typhoon. So it seems like maybe a little more of a sunny day, a little less wind out.
Yeah, this is a similar case to Mercury, where we just want to kind of take that feeling of getting one-shot bursted, comboed, whatever it may be, and bring it back just a little bit. So between Wind Siphon and Typhoon, both of those abilities do a lot of burst damage when comboed together, especially because you are in the air the whole time. You are not touching the ground. You can't react. You can't Aegis. So we want to make sure that that feeling is happening a little bit less often.
Yeah.
And if you are getting juggled about like Susanoo is known to do, it's not going to kill you as often. He's coming for me, bro. I know.
Getting a little choked up about those Mercury changes. I get it.
Yep.
Cool. I do like not dying instantly. So last but not least, Zhonghui, Demon Bag. Like, we just had to, he maybe didn't get that bag.
Well, he's getting the bag,
Oh, he does have the bag?
The bag's a little too good right now,
Got
basically,
it.
is the
Gotta
problem.
take some.
Yeah, another one of those gods that after the tier 3 item shifts, just getting a little too many free stats from that passive, particularly when protections are getting lowered from these tier 3 items. Zhong is getting so many protections. Felt like he was just getting a little too tanky too quickly in the game. So just decreasing the protections gained per stack down from 1.5 to 1.2. Still will feel like that in-your-face mage, battle mage type of identity, but will hopefully be a little bit more punishable.
Got it. Cool. Well, that does it for the nerfs, the buffs, and one little shift. Big shift and a shift. So there is one other thing to talk about in the kind of balancy area, and that is non-conquest changes. And we have quite a handful of them here. Some changes across an array of different gods. And if there are any highlights y'all want to call out, feel free to. But for the most part, all of these are on the update notes, and you can go through and see what each of the non-conquest changes are, god for god, on the update notes.
There is one I think I want to call out just
Please
because
do.
the community has been asking for it for so long. Giannis is no longer getting increased damage rounds.
Giannis?
We've heard your feedback. Still The perception is certainly stronger than his statistical performance. But he's very popular. That has gone way up, and so if you're seeing him more, your frustration with him could rise more. All of that very understandable. We appreciate that feedback for sure, and we've just seen this suggestion so much that it was kind of a no-brainer to just to take away that bonus odds.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, and again, another instance, I could not find the word, another instance of us looking for what y'all want and delivering it to you as best we can. So
Let's
cool.
just go through them really quick, right? Just so that we have
You know what?
baseline there.
Do it. Fire it off.
Oh, we've got the nerfs first off.
Yeah.
We've got Aphrodite, Ganesh, Kuzenbo, Nuwa, Odin, Sobek as nerfs. And then we've got some buffs as well, which is very exciting.
Yep.
We've got Chernobog, Daji, Unbans, and the Morrigan getting non-conquest buffs.
Yeah. So I mean, again, a good list, all on the update notes with the exactly what's happening to them, so you can go through and read through those. But so you'll be maybe your main's a little stronger now. You got to jump in arena and tear it up. So if you do and you see me in those queues, be nice. Please. All right. So next up, and now this is something we've all been waiting for.
Ooh, I'm excited.
We got, speaking of arena, I've been playing arena for a long time. I was an arena main for the longest